Hey there, my name's Curtis Lucas, and you're watching Empire Building. So now, 2 days later, the market is still buzzing over the fiasco that Elon Musk started with his tweet regarding the carbon footprint of and energy consumption of Bitcoin. We're going to take a quick look at the markets and where we stand now, in particular with the Bitcoin mining stocks, but also there was a great interview with the new CEO of Marathon Digital Holdings on Fox Business. And we're going to talk a little bit about what he said, because he kind of hinted that Marathon may be interested in partnering with Tesla to help solve this problem. But before we get into all that, another reminder, be aware of scams and impersonators down in the comments section. And if anybody is interested in signing up for a brand new Webull account, you can get 2 free stocks when you sign up using the link down in the description, and it'll also help support the channel. And as always, none of this is investment advice. You need to be responsible for your own investment decisions. I'm only here to share with you my perspective and a little bit about what I'm doing. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, we have begun the steady, slow grind back up. Still no indications of a significant breakout, but that could be coming very soon. Again, not investment advice, but the fact of the matter is, with the kind of capitulation and leveraged traders that got liquidated, that's what, like I mentioned before, that's what drives these steep overcorrections. The following day, we started heading back down and found support twice. Not every sell-off forms a sharp V-shaped recovery. And I guess depending on the timeline that you choose to look at, that could still be the case, but here's where we stand right now. Bitcoin just above $50,000. We'll just have to keep an eye on that as things goes on. As far as the Bitcoin miners are concerned, we're finally starting to gain some traction here. Marathon and Riot both up around 16%. Many of the Canadian stocks up roughly 7 to 12%. DMG blockchain seems to be doing quite well today. But the bottom line here is we've been crashing for quite some time. So, a 17% gain is little consolation after what we've just witnessed. But all that matters is, are we signaling a reversal? One interesting thing that I had noted is that yesterday, Marathon, during its plummet, just about reached its 200 daily moving average. Now, we didn't quite reach it, but sometimes these market indicators are certainly not exact sciences. But getting this close to it, in my opinion, is a pretty good signal. For a bull market, pretty clear indication that things are quite oversold. I mean, just look at the daily RSI. But no matter what, but regardless, I'm sure many of you are just happy to see a green day for a change. There haven't been very many in the last couple of months. But now let's get into the main topic of this video, because something I've been thinking about, and it's really something that sort of surfaced a number of months ago when there was the Roth conference where a number of the mining CEOs participated, including Mariko Komodo, at the time CEO of Marathon Digital. And they began talking about the ESG concerns with regards to Bitcoin mining and their carbon footprint. And as we all know, Marathon Digital gets an awful lot of heat for the fact that they powered their primary Bitcoin mining facility using a coal-fired power plant. One that they resurrected, had basically been decommissioned. But when addressing the issue, this is what Mariko Komodo had to say.
I think on social media, I would say we get bashed more than anybody because our first facility was coal-fired. And, what you're faced with is you have a massive quantity of machines arriving, and you need to get them online today, not 6 months from now, not 3 years from now. And what we have not found, and we would love to find, is enterprise quality, large scale ESG availability. And we've looked all over this country. We prefer to be in North America. And if you're wind, you have power when the wind's blowing. If you're solar, you have power when the sun's out. And other than those times, you need to store power, and that means buying batteries. There are some products by Tesla now that are enterprise scale that we're reviewing. And I guess my answer to that is when it's available, we will move there. But in the meantime, that leaves hydroelectric and, some of those other types of power that is really the only green source in large scale for a Bitcoin miner to choose today. So we're looking at all of those things, but you also have to weigh that with, you need to turn them on next month. And, at these times, when you can make a Bitcoin that's worth $55,000, if your cost is $3,500, you need those machines turned on, and you need them immediately. And while you seek other opportunities for power in the future, and we'll get there, but I just don't see it available today.
So this was the first time I had ever heard Marathon mention Tesla and their battery technology in reference to improving their ESG profile. But then, yesterday, on Fox Business, Marathon Digital's new CEO, Fred Thiel, was asked the question, if you had Elon Musk sitting in front of you right now, what would you have to say to him? And this is what he said.
My final question to you, Elon's right in front of you. What do you say to him about what he said last night?
I would ask him, hey, Elon, when are you coming out with Bitcoin mining equipment that has zero energy impact? And when do your products start servicing the needs of Bitcoin miners? Because there's nobody better at battery storage than Elon, and he really should be focused on helping the crypto industry become much more energy conscious and greener. So I would love to have Elon in front of me, and I'd love to have a conversation with him and say, Elon, let's partner, let's figure out how we really take on this challenge and how we totally green Bitcoin mining.
Okay, let's see if we can get that to happen. I'd be happy to cover the conversation. Fred Thiel, great to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
So there it is again. I wonder how serious Marathon Digital just might be about pursuing this kind of opportunity. Tesla's commercial battery storage technology is already deployed in many places around the world, including Australia and some of Tesla's own sites. It's already proven to be extremely effective, and its primary use up until this point has been to replace peaker facilities. It's a whole lot easier to draw power from Tesla's battery packs than it is to start up a short-term peaker plant that uses probably natural gas, at least most often. But as Marek Okamoto pointed out, the main problem, obviously, with solar and wind is that they're intermittent. They're not continuous sources of energy. In my opinion, solar is somewhat better than wind simply because the wind doesn't blow every day. The sun does shine every day. Even when it's cloudy, solar panels are able to collect a significant amount of energy. So if you were able to size that accordingly, and you had enough land space to be able to deploy those solar panels, you'd only need to be able to produce enough excess energy during the day that would allow you to continue operating throughout the night. This is a simple math problem to solve. The biggest issue is, do you have enough land space available around where you're deployed? So let's have another look at Hardin's facility. We've covered this before. This is primarily where the majority of the containers are being deployed at this site, and as I understand it, along the back end of this facility as well. But as we zoom out, I mean, this is Montana. We have a lot of available space for the possible deployment of solar panels. Now, currently this space is being utilized by farming. The point is, we have a lot of open land around here, and not all of it's even being farmed. So now, obviously, this is just hypothetical. I'm not saying that this is what Marathon will do. I'm not even saying that this is what they'll do here. They could choose to locate a solar facility somewhere else. That really here is the nice thing about Bitcoin. It's completely transportable. You can set up anywhere you want. One of the problems with solar is that you can't locate solar in great enough quantities nearby where it's most needed, like cities, because you just can't get the land space required. And then you lose a lot of that power as you transport it. Well, Bitcoin does not have this problem. You can locate it anywhere. So It'll be very interesting to see what happens next. The point is, we do know that Marathon will be making some sort of announcement in the very near future to disclose where they will be locating their next facility. And they've made it pretty clear that they do not intend to expand under any additional coal-fired facilities. That one was utilized just because they needed to get going quickly, and it was available. But I have no doubt, whatever they choose to do next, it will be in line with achieving that carbon neutrality. But what do you think? Leave a message down in the comments. But one of the important things to remember here is that it is becoming increasingly evident that locating and sourcing sources of surplus energy where Bitcoin miners can set up shop is becoming more and more difficult. This is another barrier to entry, but it's also going to spawn the development of more and more renewable energy technologies. Bitcoin is going to accelerate this in a massive way, making the technology far more accessible for everybody else. That's all for this one. Now let's get back to empire building.